Welcome to Jackson Wink MMA Academy. Through these doors walk the greatest fighters in the world. You're listening to JW Raw with Eminem.
We're live.
All right.
We're live.
All right, we're live. Yeah, sorry about that glitch, guys, but good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, or wherever the heck you are. We are live from the world-famous Jackson Wink MMA Academy in Albuquerque, and we are very excited today because we got a couple wonderful guests that don't need introductions. But first of all, we would be remiss to not talk about Vegas. With Vegas being our second home, it would be horrible not to mention the tragedy that happened this weekend, the massacre. I know there's still a lot of investigation going on out there. There's a lot of sad stuff coming up with funerals and all that, and our thoughts and prayers are with them. We are there every single weekend, it seems like, for some kind of fight. We'll be there this weekend with Borg, Landon, and Tom Duquesnoy. So we're very excited about this weekend, and Vegas is in our hearts, and we just want to say, give them a shout out that we're thinking of them, and we're very, very disappointed about what happened out there. But
we've been having a lot of discussions about it back and forth. Obviously, it's pretty bad situation that's happening in this world right now, man. So,
but yeah, so Vegas is on our mind. We'll be there this weekend. Our coaches are with us now. We've got. I'm embarrassed to have to introduce them because they are known everywhere. They're very humble about it. But we got on the show with us Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn, our head coaches, the namesakes on the wall on the building, and the guys who are responsible for starting this entire thing. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Both of us.
Microphone in my face now.
actually, we should say thank you for having us.
Thank you for giving us a room here at the gym. If you guys hear outside, there's a lot of noise going on. We're expanding the gym again.
Yeah.
It's getting so crowded down there that people are starting to run into each other. So we just adding another
mat space.
However many square feet. How many square feet is that, Coach Winker, that we're adding down there with mat space?
Not that much, about 800 square feet.
Only 800 square feet. Nothing to it. Yeah.
I wanted 10 million, but Big Bro said that wasn't realistic.
No, that's not realistic. But you know what? They smell so bad on this side. I think we take the guys who use deodorant on the other side, and that's where I'm going.
Do the smell check. You on that side?
Let's spread the smell. Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about you guys have done this a million times. Who's been doing this the longest? Who's the longest coach?
Big Bro, for sure.
Well, I'm old. That doesn't say much.
I'm only
You
21.
probably got more experience than me. Yeah.
So you
But he's young.
You both started your careers in martial arts at young ages, and here we are, many years later, built this wonderful facility, coaching the greatest fighters in the world.
That only needs one many. It's not many years. It's just many years later.
That's true.
I'm still young, as I said previously.
21 years.
Mm-hmm.
21 years old. That's a
I've
long.
accomplished a lot in 21 years.
Well, we can see
I learned
that.
to drive.
To
Did
drive. Create world champions.
Well, that was more of a team deal than me, but yep.
We've done okay, I guess.
We did all right.
I don't know, whatever. Get lucky sometimes. One of those things.
Still doing it though.
We're doing okay. I'm always grumpy. He's happy all the time, so it works out that well, too.
We know that.
We're the yin and yang, sir.
Big bro, little bro.
Can I be yang?
Yeah,
I just want to make sure I'm yang. Okay.
Which one is which? I didn't know which one.
Yin and yang.
Yan and yin.
So this is what, the third building that you guys have done together, or how many is this? What generation of building is this? How did this start?
For me, it's the 7th, I think, maybe 6th. And for Big Bro, it was the 4th, 5th?
We're about 5.
5th,
About
yeah.
5,
5th,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah, I opened in 92, and then bounced around until we finally made it to this place. And we're not moving again.
I hope not.
Oh, my God.
Well, I'll tell you the story. You know what? I was already fighting everywhere, fighting around the world and stuff. And I'm watching the UFC early days, and I'm going, what the hell is Hoist Gracie doing to this guy's arm? And I didn't understand because I was always just Muay Thai stand-up. Make a long story short, started wrestling with a buddy of mine that was an All-American wrestler. He introduced me to Greg. And this little young guy off his back just kept inventing moves on me, just choking the crap out of him, making me cry. So that was the day that I knew I had to get better all this together, and teaming up with this guy, it's worked out. So we lucked out.
So yeah, a lot of people may not know that Mr. Winklejohn was a world champion kickboxing guru back in the day.
More than one title.
Exactly.
So
And
long ago, that's when the black and white film it kind of shakes and shit like that.
I've seen some of those films.
It's
They're
shaking,
actually pretty cool. We colorized them. It's pretty exciting.
He used to have to fight bears and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't just people.
Bruce Lee has nothing on him.
We drugged up the bears first, though. So they're like baby bears because I couldn't. Yeah, I suck.
So then, like you mentioned, there was a wrestling coach, a local wrestling coach that introduced you guys, and so you guys had your separate dojos going on at the time. Greg with the guy who did you
Gairo Jitsu. Yeah, that was when I
that's-
came up with when I was young. It was like a name of the martial art because I was a little disenchanted with what the martial arts had to offer as far as actual technique. Not so much, and I think that's one of the mistakes that we've made is moving away from the values that traditional martial arts gives us. But the technical side certainly needed to evolve, and so before Big Bro, I really didn't have an instructor. You know what I mean? I just had to figure it all out myself. So it was just so I came up with my own art, like 10 million kids did back in the 80s, and mine just stuck around.
Yeah, exactly. It was
Starting with Bruce Lee, I mean, that was the same thing.
Yeah, we're not on the same level, though. You're talking like a genius, and then like.
Oh, come on. There's a
I'm a
humbleness.
blind-
Here we go.
He was
You have to be a
then,
genius
you
to be in
here
the
now.
movies. When you're in the
So.
movies, you're a genius.
I need to get to the movies then. Make me smart.
Well, we just did one. So,
Oh, there you go. Well, you
So
did.
you're on
You're-
that level. No, you did. You were in there. You were actually showing your skills, teaching Michelle how to.
Oh yeah,
Coach
that's
Jackson had some speaking lines. So
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you did better than I
Hello,
did.
Michelle. How are you today?
it was good. We watched it on the big screen. It was exciting stuff.
Hey, did it move you guys to tears? Did my performance do it?
I think I did. I think
Got a
I
little choked up?
I had to hold hands. It
was good.
It was a moment.
It was good.
yeah.
I'm that kind of
You were
actor.
holding hands. Was it a guy or a girl? 'Cause that's why
Well,
I'm right now.
yeah.
We don't judge. You
won't
can do either way.
We won't get
judge.
into
It's
that.
okay.
Yeah, but just
As long as it's not,
Just own it.
As long as it's not in front of Wink.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't see
Vinc's
it.
very.
Did I say that out loud?
He pretends not to be tolerant. This guy, but he's one of the most tolerant guys I know.
That's
Nah.
such a true story.
It's absolutely true.
That's true. Rough,
he-
rough on the outside, as they
Very,
say.
yeah, heart of gold, rough on the outside. That's for sure.
It's a self-defense mechanism.
No, it's just because he's so tough that like,
I know, true,
yeah, like
true.
bullets bounce off him. Like,
Kick you in the head.
Shit,
Yeah.
this is gonna cost me so much money after this interview right now.
I get it.
Everybody's going to come off because
So,
It's like some grumpy and old.
He's grumpy and not really old because I'm really young, so he's still.
you still got time for a lot of things. For a lot more world champions.
Yeah, I saw a movie one time called "We Were Soldiers Once and Young," based on this great book. And while Big Bro and those guys are real heroes in that movie and the real deal. But the personality types of the two main guys, the two characters, those guys are the real deal. But the personality types are very similar with me, like bouncing around, happy, doing strategy, and Wink also doing major strategy, but like. Oh, there'll be plenty of guns when everyone's gone, and I can just pick them up and use them. Like, that's Wink. Like, yep, that is an exact strategy. Very smart and cerebral, but given in a way that's like, well, here's how you do it, and that's how it's going to get done. Where I'm like, and then we'll pull in light rays and butterflies, and it'll be awesome.
Are you referring to the movie that We Were Soldier Mel Gibson?
Yeah. So Mel Gibson and
that's
Sergeant Major
his-
Plumley
yeah,
is
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Like, totally.
Yeah, true.
How would you know what kind of goddamn morning it is?
There we
that's
go.
totally
Trying to say
Big
I
Bro.
use bad language. Is what
No,
you're trying to say?
you didn't say the S word. You said
He would make a
GD.
perfect drill sergeant.
Oh yeah, he is a drill sergeant. Yeah, 100%. And everybody's afraid of him. You know what I mean? Like, oh, jeez.
Imagine winking in uniform, man. With like,
He'd be great.
That's scary.
yeah,
Well, I
weren't
thought
you?
about coaching the other way, where I kind of worry about their feelings, and kind of like America has gotten right now. It's the sissification of America. That does not work in the gym. I mean, it's as simple as that. In my mind, it's
I agree. No,
it's
but you can't avoid
be
the
tough and
feelings.
go home.
Yeah, true. But you can't avoid feelings. So we were all born with it. So it's something.
Big Bro
like,
was not born with feelings.
Well,
Sorry.
you know, you can hide.
I did a genetic
but-
test on him, like one of those swab things, and it came back. No
No
feelings.
feelings.
No feelings.
That's
I
funny.
got feelings for my family.
That's true. That's a fact.
Well,
And his little bro, thank God.
Grappler meets Striker back in the so late 80s, early 90s, around there. Or is that
Early 90s,
Okay.
93 maybe, 93,
92, 93, yeah, exactly.
And so the first time you guys joined forces was at the Acoma location. Is that accurate, or was there?
That's accurate in some ways, but before that, we were already working together.
Yeah.
So our fighters are always they'd go down there and roll with Greg all the time. They'd come up to my place late at night, and how lucky was I that all of a sudden, like a George St. Pierre that's working with Greg, all of a sudden would show up at my classes at nighttime at my gym with Keith Jardine and Joey Villasenor and all these old time guys. Nate Marquardt, it was Diego Sanchez. It was a good time. You know, but we finally decided it's best just to blend the two together and go forward.
That's what a lot of people don't understand. Is it wasn't always Jackson Wink. It was you were separate places at one point, and then when you joined forces under one roof, that's when MMA was still in its infamy, or it was brand new. Nobody even knew what it was. It was still the crazy no holds barred kind of stuff,
yeah.
and.
I remember they even had the boxing ring in that gym. You know, you look at the old pictures and you see a boxing ring in the cage. And
Yeah, when you fought in Japan, you fought in a ring, so that's what we
it
would
kind
do.
of faded away. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
there's still people fighting in the rings, but it's not common though.
Exactly.
Well,
okay.
yeah, no, go ahead.
I was going to say that's when it really took off. Is for me is when we kind of joined forces and pushed it to that next level. We've been doing that since.
You know, we touched on it a little bit with the whole Vegas thing. You know, I'd like to kind of get some opinions on that. Would it? What do you think? What do you think we could have done differently as a society to make that not happen? Because there's a lot of debate going on. People saying, you know, it was one guy with 20 guns. How did he get 20 guns? Do we need 20 guns? Was it? Is it a problem? Is how? I mean, there's so many. It's such a big debate. What are we going to do to fix this? What's your opinions on this?
Well, I'll tell you what my opinion is. I'm not smart enough to have an opinion. That is such a complicated question
Extremely.
that is like so layered. And you know, you see places where gun control works, but what do they give up for that? And I mean, there's so many questions. I will tell you this: it's not simple. You can't just suddenly take everybody's guns. That's the only time I know there might be an armed revolt in this country, where people are like, "Oh, never take it." Certainly, guns are the most dangerous thing on the planet. And if you know anything about me, I'm pretty, like, the other half of my life is dealing with that a lot. So, I think it's such a complicated question that I think people a lot smarter than me need to think of something. And so I don't know what that something is. I mean, for me, I hate to be the guy that's like, oh, well, you know, I can teach people how to punch people in the face, or I'll teach some other stuff. Like, let me give you my well-informed social opinion on, like, just because I know there's so many perspectives to it and layers to it. If you came to me with something that made sense, if you said, listen, we are going to ban these things but not those things, there's the slippery slope argument. As soon as you ban one thing, like you ban, no, just because, you know, I don't know if I buy the slippery slope argument, but at the same time, I mean, the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment. I don't know. I wish I had, like, here's how we're gonna fix this problem. Like it. Yeah, I'm not educated enough on everybody's perspective, nor am I, which then I would feel comfortable. Same thing about fighting. If somebody asked me who's going to win this fight, I'd have to study it left and right. And I've studied it on a cursory level, but as soon as somebody says, oh, this, that, and this for sure, well, not everybody feels that way. And I think it's a tricky thing to unify a country right now that is so divided, to get everybody kind of on the same sheet of music. Certainly doing the, what do they call the bump plate things, like that kind of a ban.
I'd never even heard of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that seems to make sense. is that a slippery slope into being, okay, well, now you're going to take all my weapons from me? I don't necessarily think it is. I think that we've had, bans in the past. So I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me. I'm just kind of absorbing it all right now. Like it's tragedy after tragedy after tragedy. So yeah. Oh, sorry, Bish, go ahead.
No, just that been bothering me a lot too. Like we've been arguing with Mark this and that because he's a big gun guy, and I'm a man of peace, really, man. To me,
weren't you walking around with a gun the other day?
Yeah, because I put in a position.
Good
point. It's not a good point because
It's a great point when you need it.
No, it's not a good point because I'm put in a position here to have a gun because everyone else has guns, but I'm not. Because
they were just wrestling. They were almost naked.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
But we had a crazy girl coming in here with
almost.
But anyway,
hey, dude, let everybody know there was some craziness going on, and Misha was protecting us. I was busting his balls.
That's all it is. Yeah, every day.
Misha's part-time security among the other million jobs he does around here. So,
well, the way I see this is you can't justify death. You can't justify death. You can't do anything about it, man. There's got to be some kind of changes made. To sit and wait for the next one to appear and hoping that's not us and just brush it off and wish him a prayer and give him my condolences and move on and hope it's not your family. It's not the way to do it. I know, like, the people pointing fingers into, what about drug problem? What about, people kill people, not guns, man? But okay, so let's give these people more guns so they can prove the point by people kill people. So the way I see it is, like, how do you solve the problem? I know it's a very touchy subject. I know this country is
born with the gun.
Born with the gun, and it's not that easy to take it away. But no one, like, I don't propose take everyone's gun away. Because it'll be a revolution. It'll be crazy. But there has to be some kind of control. No one should be allowed to go and buy 500 rounds in the store. 500 rounds. I mean, we have social securities, right? You go buy a gun. It should be registered under you somehow, and then they pull it up. You have one assault rifle. Why do you need the second? Why do you need the third? Why do you need the fourth? Why do you need 10?
I think certainly in mentally ill cases that they shouldn't be able to get. I mean, if you have
that's guaranteed.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think there needs to be some kind of limits.
It's a weapon of mass destruction. This
just
is
because
100%.
of how exactly.
It's
how
tough one. You know
it
what?
is.
The other day I bought 500 rounds at Walmart. My wife and I went shooting with one of Greg's tactical guys. He says, have 250 rounds each. I went to the store and got some rounds. We went and we shot them all out real fast. And we're just normal civil guys. I'm not as smart as a late night talk host show guy, or an actor.
No,
but with that being said, I don't know. You got to look at the studies. I don't look at Chicago. They banned guns. It seems like violence increased. I don't know. I'm not that smart.
But the way I always bring the point to that is like, okay, but it's a nationwide problem. It's not just Chicago problem. I can drive a state over from Illinois, buy a gun, and just drive back right there. There's no checkpoints. There's no nothing. I go buy a shitload of guns and drive back them into Chicago. So what's that solve? It's USA, and the Chicago right in the middle. And there's all these states that have guns. So
I think the problem is bigger. I agree with Greg. I know I'm not smart enough to figure it out.
I'm not either.
But I think there's always something out there, something about that idiot that someone saw but didn't want to say anything because they want to hurt his feeling or somebody else's feelings. It's kind of like, what was it, Santa Barbara? They saw the guys there worried about calling out Muslims but they thought all this was going on, but they didn't want to be called racist or whatever. Sorry, don't worry about hurting people's feelings when it's about the safety of others. Talk to somebody about it. There's always something. There's always something that someone go, oh, I should have said something that might have saved lives. So I don't know. People
it's just a complicated world, man. Complicated world. Very complicated world. But not to do anything about it is not right either, because that's been every single day, mass shooting every single day. Guys, it could be any of us. It could be our family, anywhere. I don't want to go to crowded places. I don't want to know. I don't go anywhere. It's scary. You can be in a movie theater and get shut up. Like it's... somebody has to do something about it.
Well, the guy in Vegas supposedly walked into the hotel with 16, 17 guns or something, and somebody had to see him walk into that building with big cases, suspicious-looking bags, maybe. I don't know, but nobody said anything.
And what's crazy is that after every type of shooting, there's so many conspiracy theories. And like I was watching a video yesterday where it's like, type of one of those
fourth floor shooter.
And there was like, you go on YouTube, you gotta confirm your age to watch. It was like really violent, and they were showing actual dead people with blown heads off.
Man, you shouldn't even watch that stuff. It's so dumb.
I don't know why. Like sometimes it drags you in. You show surfing the internet, and it's just like, oh my god, man. And it gets you.
Yeah, no.
Wear it up.
I would say there's plenty of debate on both sides for the gun thing, for sure. I am more lean to the left, but I don't know. It's hard to pin me down one way or the other, but I agree that there should be something done, at least some kind of, I don't know, tokens. People need to figure stuff out, whatever it is, but
and the reason, like,
fix it.
And also, like, when Coach says, I went for, shooting for fun, and Mark likes to shoot for fun. Yeah, we went the other day shooting for fun. Yes, it is very fun, but it's the type of fun that
it wasn't fun. It was for protection. So I want my wife to be able to shoot the shit out of somebody that breaks into her house.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying for some people do it. I understand.
I think
there's a ways to do it but a lot of people shoot it for fun. And
there's
fun.
no right, and that's fine. But I think that what we're talking about is the ability to do mass destruction. So you get people that drive into a couple people, 2 or 3 dead. For like how many?
300
yeah,
or 400.
Yeah, exactly.
60 dead, 300 injured. You can't do it with a car.
But then the counter to that argument was, well, they go to explosives then. You know what I mean?
Timothy McVeigh. Look at Timothy McVeigh. Evil finds a way. Evil will always find a way.
I know it will always, but to reduce it and to minimize it, it's our duty. Not everyone can build a bomb. You know how difficult it is to build a bomb? You got to be a genius to build a bomb.
Well, that's not true.
No, you have to.
Timothy McVeigh was a genius.
Yeah.
No,
fertilizer.
Well, you have to dedicate a crazy amount of time and study to make it happen. I don't have to dedicate crazy amount of time and study to go buy a gun and shoot everyone up. And gun makes you feel powerful, makes you feel like God. When I hold my pistol, it feels good, So that's why you have all this Rambos running around. It does feel good.
Are we going to have this on the police?
We created a monster.
Yeah, over here. We might have to give them the flag.
Yeah.
Well, I'll shut up. I just don't want people dying, man.
No,
I hate
100%.
that
That's awful.
I love people, man. I can't have that.
And I think that the important things to remember are that there are places where gun control works. Like there's very few gun deaths in those places that are banned, but then there's also places that might not be as bad. I don't know. Like certainly Australia and England are great examples of there's a lot less people killed by guns than there are here.
And they used to have a
The
problem.
difference in population too, but I don't know.
Maybe
People just study, but
or maybe they just can't hit the broadside of a barn.
could be.
That's an old.
None of us have the right answer. It's way
very
too
hard.
complicated for even the 5
That's
of
why
us
we
to-
have brilliant politicians that we elect to fix our problems for us.
Fix it. Exactly, but and it's not
been
something
done.
they can just make happen in a day. I mean, there has to be debate.
Yep.
And it's going to take a very, very long time. I'm not quite sure what happened in Australia, but apparently they had a big problem, and then they banned all guns overnight. Did it work? There's studies that say it did. There's not the mass killings and the school shootings and all that stuff going on out there anymore. But
And we know
will
it's
that
gonna
work
happen,
for America?
But minimizing it. It's it's epidemic here. It's a straight up epidemic of disastrous proportions. Like there's no other way you can talk about it. It's a problem, major problem. People are dying senseless lives by hundreds. Come on. By thousands, what am I talking about? If you pull up, I sent you that report. It's thousands of deaths by gun. So how can you ignore that?
Something has to be done.
I agree.
But I'm not sure. It's tough.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind of like,
we're not lawmakers.
are you going to give up your gun in your house?
If everyone did, I would.
But that's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, it has to make sense.
But
It has
if
to be in a way that makes sense, and maybe minimizing it makes sense.
But look at this. Look at this. I'm not saying that all the guns. I agree with you. You can have one pistol per person. It's perfectly fine for self-defense. I mean, you can't do mass shooting. By the time you pull your gun and try to commit some murder, you'll be shot in your dead in your tracks. It's like I keep saying, all these mass shootings, everyone armed, but why are the mass shootings happening? Where are all those guns when you need them? These shootings happen hundreds.
Well, this one was definitely. First off, schools, you're not allowed to have anybody armed in them. That's part of it. This guy's up in a hotel, up in a
High ground.
High ground. He's shooting down at people. So of course, I mean, that's a different situation. This guy was just evil. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but
evil exists.
Somebody saw something. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, evil existed from the day we were from our human existence, and it's not going away. We know it, but
Well, we can't. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Me and you off here that we can't count on the police to protect us at all times. because especially here in Albuquerque, we're so short officers and
Yeah. On a
crime
side
is-
note, though, those guys are awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
they go toward the bullets.
But
How
what
cool
happened
is
in
that?
Vegas is a perfect example of
Yeah,
what the
just-
police do.
As a
people
matter of
run-
fact, Mark never mentioned it. This gentleman is at 25 years on the force, recently retired. So I have utmost respect for this guy right
So I have kind of a personal connection to the whole gun thing and opinions, but
That's why he's kind of immune to death. That's why when I'm talking to him about it, to people, he's like,
I
yeah,
don't know if you ever get
Impossible.
immune to death, but
well, but like to
it's-
seeing death,
I've seen a lot of it, and it's horrible. I've seen-
scraping people off the floors.
These two are good.
But so we trying to count on the police to help us in our own homes is probably it's not the answer.
It's not the
quite
answer.
honestly.
I know.
That's why you have a gun in your house. Probably all of us.
Well,
in the
I
room
do
have a gun in the house.
because I never, when I lived in New Jersey and New York, and I've never owned a gun until I got here. I'm scared shitless to use a gun against another flesh, another human being, no matter who they are, bad, good,
That's
or whatever.
scary.
It's very scary, man. How do you live with shooting someone? But you like put in a position where you almost have to. You have to look like Cam yesterday brought up a good point, man. The guy gets cut off, gets all panicky, pulls out the gun, shoots at the car, kills a 4-year-old girl a year ago in Albuquerque here. How many instances like that you see? If he didn't have a gun, he wouldn't be able to kill it, did he? You know what I'm saying? The gun makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel if you can snap easily, you can kill a person. And to say laws will not help. Now, what about drugs and laws on drugs? Okay, so let's get rid of all the laws. What's the point of having them? Because those are that law-abiding people will be okay. If I mess with it, I go to jail. You know, if I mess with it, I get in trouble. I ruin my life. So yes, drug problem exists, and it's all connected together. Like you keep bringing up drugs, and people bring up, if they want to kill someone, they will find a way to kill someone. Of course they will, but not by 300 people, 400 people, 500 people. You know what I'm saying? This is a homegrown terrorism, 100%. You know, if you're the bearded guy, you're a terrorist. If you shoot up, if you white guy somewhere in the building, you shoot up freaking dude, you are mentally ill on drugs. You're not a terrorist.
You just say that.
Yeah. This is but this is true though. This is how it's being called. You know,
We're not profiling or anything.
We're not
but,
profiling,
yeah,
but this is truth. You know, it's not profiling.
I
But
don't know,
that's-
Misha. You know what? All I know is Greg and I try to train fighters how to fight. As far as society, I'm not smart enough. Greg's
Yeah,
much
it's-
smarter than I am. He understands. This man is so well read, by the way, to the public know. It's amazing. Sometimes I talk to him, I don't know what he's talking about half the time. It's just going
all
over my
right,
head.
I don't know
That's
either.
when my hair's real short, like just goes out of my hair.
we train fighters at this gym, and that gun topic is something that's way beyond our expertise.
But we should talk about it.
Yeah,
Everyone
we do.
should.
Sure,
be,
absolutely.
We
It's
should
good.
talk about it.
And even admitting that you don't know, and you should educate yourself about it, and then form an opinion. I think is very important too. Come to your own conclusions, but just make sure that you're not overly biased on one side or the other going into the thing, because then you're just trying to justify.
We have 300 million people in America and 300 million opinions.
But all that political
Yeah.
correctness too is it's too much. You know, everyone's trying to be politically correct and say things and be worried about saying things and stuff like that.
It does go too far.
You
You
have
can
to be
overcorrect.
aware. You have to be
But
aware. Everyone
at the
is
same
scared.
time, yeah. At the same time, though, like I have no problem respecting people and who they are, and you know,
Absolutely.
if you want to respect it, you know, I'm not going to try to say an offensive thing to somebody because I don't know them and or stereotype them, and you know what I mean.
100%,
So like,
not either.
I'm not against political correctness to a point, but like if you're like overdoing it or using it as a tool for some kind of like one-upping other people and stuff. I don't really care about that. That's boring to me. But
I
like
agree.
I don't have a problem like if people have a different life choice than I do, or they feel different, or their brain's wired a little differently. They're still a human being, and I have no
course.
problem being politically correct. When it gets for us in our job, it's hard. Like in a gym,
Especially
there's
in-
no
in
well, there's
this
no real
environment.
right. There's no politically correctness here. Like everybody's equal. All we care about is if you fight and listen. If you've been a bad person in the past and you're trying to make amends and trying to do
We'll help
right,
you.
well then right, exactly. But you're going to get every religion on these mats. You're going to get every type of person on
Absolutely.
these mats.
100%.
And that in order to do that, you got to have a thick skin and a sense of humor. Like you got to
Well,
be able to
that's
tease
why I
yourself
hate
about
I
it.
don't know if everybody in the gym is actually equal because the white guys can't jump emphasize the black guys. I'm just
Yeah,
saying. But there's equal opportunity in the gym.
Right.
You know, and Greg's right. You know, it's cool as shit. You come in here and you'll see a Muslim beating the crap out of a Christian. You'll see a Christian beating up a Buddhist. You see a Buddhist putting a Mexican on his head. You see a Mexican getting up choking out a black guy. You see a black guy pummeling a white guy. They go to lunch together.
And they hug it out and they enjoy
it's
time.
so cool. Non-stop camaraderie because it's real. It's what it's all about. They have common goals. They want to take care of themselves and their families. It's a big team and it's neat. People have respect for each other.
That statement right there that Coach Wink made nails it because it's so true. You see that daily around here. There is no racial stuff going on.
We got Mongolians, Russians. We got Mongolians staying with Chinese in the same room, and you used to have problems. Now they're getting along, they train together, they go hang out together. It's
well,
funny.
there's two ways to look at it. There is racial comments made. There are slurs made, but that's because they can handle it. They're not worried about hurting their feelings.
Yeah.
Well, and they know underneath that it's them. You just give each other a hard time about anything. Like everything's fair game, pretty much. I mean, obviously there's some things lines you don't cross, but like, we're not denying a guy a job and then going with our buddies and going, oh, that Negro's never going to get a job here, ha ha. It's a different tone. But that's a microcosm, and that's why I say I don't mind being politically correct out in the world to a point, because I think the gym that's not America. That's what America should be. I'd love it if that was it, but I mean like we said, it's a complicated place.
It is,
and there's a lot of since Restoration after the Civil War, there's a lot of systematic poverty, and you're either racist or you believe in systematic poverty. There's no middle ground for that. So if that creates cultures and creates problems, and so there's a lot of problems as racism has created, and I certainly am very aware of my white privilege, and I'm also aware that I'm not aware of a lot of my white privilege.
I don't even know what it is.
Well, it's a fact. Listen, I grew up in the South Valley of Albuquerque, New Mexico. I understood what being the white guy was like the sore thumb there, and people made assumptions. And when I got out, I was like, oh, the whole world isn't the South Valley. There are people and white privilege exists. It does, and you can debate it or whatever, but that's fine. That doesn't mean that you have it any easier. Some white people have it very hard. But to understand that, yes, you have privileges, to understand the systematic racism that exists. And it's not really a debate. You can debate it if you want, but whatever. It exists.
No, there's no doubt. I agree with you. It's easier to be a white guy than a black guy in this
100%.
town. The black guys do get looked at a little differently, but it's a bigger picture. There's no doubt about it. Why? It's those type of things. So with that being said, it's just I think that people just need to look deep into themselves and help each other out and go forward. We can't go back. That's the problem. History's there. You can't change history. Learn from history, because if you ignore it, we're screwed.
Yep. And so I think it's great. I think the dojo is our little shining beacon into, well, you know what? This is a bunch of men and women getting together. Even we have gay people, straight people. It really doesn't matter. We don't care. We'll tease you about it. You tease us about it.
Absolutely.
And we all have a great time.
I'd like to bring up a point about it too, because sometimes we're judged as a gym, as a people, when we're trying to do something right, give people opportunity. Remember when we had a gentleman from Australia come with all the tattoos, and stuff like that we've been attacked because he had a problem with at home, stuff like this, and we were being attacked badly.
How dare we bring this guy to the gym?
Yeah, I'll address that. So here's the deal. People need a place to have a second chance. They do.
Of course.
And
if
there's
fourth.
Well, yeah.
To a certain extent.
Yeah, there's sometimes you can't reach people. There just isn't. They're what I call fish eyes.
True.
I grew up with some fish eyes. I know the animal. There are people that you cannot be reasoned with. You cannot say, "Oh, sir, let's work on your recidivism and going back to jail." You're just your career. You're too far gone. There's fish eyes. However, there are people that have made terrible mistakes that need to try and atone for that, build themselves back up, and we'll come under fire for that all day. But I'll be the first to say people gave me a second chance that shouldn't have given me a second chance.
Me
So that I'm going to extend that to other people. Now, if you just keep messing up, and we've had to kick people out of here permanently, permanent bans. But if you're going to come and try to improve your life and not beat women anymore or do drugs or whatever it is that you did to get here, within reason, right? We're not. If you killed 35 people and stuffed them in refrigerators, then you're not welcome. But my point is, if you are a person that is trying to change, we are going to help facilitate that change. And we're going to come under attack for that all day. I don't really care. Because they're not here. You're not boots on the ground. You have no idea what it is. And we're not always going to be successful. There are going to be people that we can't reach. but there are going to be some nice stories that we do get. And
Absolutely.
100%.
so
Like
if
Will,
people
like Will Santiago, for example.
Right.
Coach loves that story. too,
absolutely,
man.
but
Like,
that
We all love that story. That's a great story.
right, but we don't. That part's not for the fans. I mean, the fans, they love it. They can get all over it, all that stuff. But that's to help somebody. So we're going to give people second chances in life. That's what we do. And you don't have to like it. Good. Don't follow our gym. There's plenty of other cool gyms to follow, and they'll love it. But if you mess up, I grew up in a place where
You see this all the
everybody was
time.
messed up. So, like, it's hard for me to judge. Like, that's all I knew. That's hard for me to judge people. Like, later on, you realize that's not normal. That's not how people behave. And I had a good family life myself, and they gave me a sense of that. But when everyone you know is in that element, so when I got out, I'm like, you know what? Some of those dudes were good dudes. They are just no one taught them how to handle stuff. Because they're like, oh, well, you just learn. Well, who's going to teach you? Your grandmother's 75 years old. You grew up with all of these dirt bags around your apartment complex or wherever you were all day long. Who's teaching you right and wrong? Who is that again? Like, it doesn't exist. As a matter of fact, they teach you the opposite of right and wrong.
Exactly.
So,
There you go. That goes back to our original question. I know Greg's right on that one. It's just it's deeper. It's not just the individual. It comes from a long time. I think we need to get back to a lot of traditional family structures. Dads, by the way, get back to taking care of your kids and your family. You have a whole bunch of kids everywhere. You're an idiot if you don't go take care of your kids. By the way,
I came to America when I was 16 years of age by myself. What did I know, man? I was like lost, man. I would fall. You know how many times I stumbled and fell to the ground, man? But I had to pick myself up. Like,
you're
dusted
drinking.
off. Huh?
because you were drinking.
I did whatever.
He's
I mean,
Russian.
It's I didn't
Vodka.
have guidance. I had to
Right.
learn how to guide myself, and I made many promises for my life and stuff. But I kept getting up, brushing it off, and and moving forward.
That's
So-
a great story, and I think there's a lot of extraordinary people that are of that because you could do it. They're like, well, I did it. Why can't you? Because they're asking everybody to be extraordinary now. You know what I mean? And like most of us are just normal dudes. Like we don't have. There's a lot of people that are just normal kids. So they're like, well, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps. Why can't you do that? Why can't everybody do that? Because you know what? Everybody ain't you. Like there are some extraordinary people, and those dudes will make it. They'll make the long shot basket. That's just how they do it. But you can't say, well, I did it, so why isn't this kid? Well, this kid has no parents, no chance, no hope. He's in an evil people factory, basically. Like, you can't hold him to the same standard. And sometimes the kids will fight out of there, and they will make it. Mm-hmm. But in the aggregate, man, so that's one of the things I lean left on. I'm a huge social program guy. I grew up watching Meals on Wheels and all these places that, like, helped my friends that weren't eating or they didn't have a school to go. They got kicked out of every school. And then there was one, last Job Corps ditched effort where they could say, okay, here's your last, and they got a trade, and now they have a stable life. They wouldn't have had that without. So I lean hard that way because I grew up around people that, well, you know what? They're not all like they're just not capable of it. And then most people aren't. But you're an extraordinary person. You can't say because I did it. That'd be like saying Big Bro is the best MMA coach in the world. Why isn't everybody the best MMA coach in the world?
I agree.
What's that about? I did it. I'm the best MMA coach.
That's ugly. Wait a minute. That's the best MMA coach in the world. What am
I think the
talking
two best MMA coaches in the world are right over there.
No, I agree with Greg. He has a perfect statement there. Evil people factories. I mean, there's just places. I mean, look, just if you're born into this a shitty place, it's hard to get out, and sometimes you do have to do bad things just to survive. And so it's kind of one of those things that it's gigantic. I don't have the answers, but our leaders need to help that out a little bit more down the road.
That's another one of those tough
That's
ones.
why I brought it up because we get.
We got kids here from Chicago that have gone out. We like those kids a lot.
That's what I'm saying. That's why we try to help. We understand that exactly what you just said, that things like that, we can't turn our back on people like that because I know fighting brings people together. It gives people another chance. How many, from boxers to MMA fighters, how many guys got off the streets and took care of their lives and found a way through fighting to get to better up their life.
Right, and especially with
how can they tell us we can't?
Right, well,
open up doors for them,
and just
we should
telling
kick
them that
out.
like it's not okay. Like you can't beat women. Like that's not. We've had
That's
talks
not-
about here. Like
yes.
you can't do that. Like I don't care who you are, or what you're doing. Like you don't lay hands and violence outside this
Yeah,
gym.
if you constantly do that, then that's a major problem. But if you come and listen, it happened once. It's
Right.
Well, you have a reasons. You screwed up. Everyone screws up.
Right.
It's not right. We don't condone it. Like it's good,
No.
whatever. Who cares?
Well, it's the opposite of
but
condoning,
as long as
it's
you
trying to
don't do
change
it,
it.
as long as you don't do it, as long as you don't do it, you try to change. You try to show us that you're trying to change and you're trying to better up yourself and offer something to the team. Then we'll open up our doors.
Absolutely.
So that's why. those that keep pointing fingers at us and blaming for something. Just think, just whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as long as I have a reason for what I do. Big Bro has a reason for what he does. We're not just arbitrarily doing stuff. We of course are ruthless businessmen, sir. Don't forget that. Everything for
Ruthless.
a buck.
Ruthless.
Anything.
Nobody
for a
gets
dollar.
anything free around here.
No,
Speaking of free, we're gonna give it a little shout out to pay some bills here.
True.
Give it a second here.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
No. Oh,
That's not going to pay bills.
that was
I'm just saying.
Did it come up?
that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to thank our sponsor, CBD Boutique, a local company that
what was that? Somebody brought
allowed
a
this to
barking spider.
happen. Huh?
Somebody brought a barking spider in here.
Uh-oh. Never mind.
He has bad
Move
breath.
along. CBD.
Oh, I don't know.
Smells
I'd be
good.
smiling if it was mine, but
Smells funny.
I don't
Is that
train
what
that
it is?
parking spider, apparently.
I didn't get that joke, but whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys,
you Russian?
yeah, I don't know what I am.
CBD
I'm
smells much better.
I'm like, it's whatever works for him. One day I'm American because I'm American, sitting next day I'm Russian. So whatever fits the
That's the
agenda.
big bro.
Whatever fits the agenda. But anyway, we wanted to thank CBD Boutique for making the show happen. We're still in the beginning stages of developing our podcast and allowing coaches and fighters and different guests to come on the show, visit the gym, talk about interesting subjects, and as they mentioned the other day, right, by WADA, that in 2018 CBD will be permitted to athletes.
USADA has approved
Not
it.
USADA, no, WADA. So the question now is that a lot of people saying that it might be misleading information, but I'm trying to understand if USADA is under WADA or how does it work. I'm not exactly sure. So WADA is World Doping Association, USADA is, but I would assume that if World Doping Association allows it, then USADA would also follow the steps. So, but anyhow, CBD does help. It works. Many people are turning into it, especially in combat sports. That our bodies get hurt. We get a lot of inflammations. People turn it into natural medicine instead of sitting on painkillers, and which is a major problem as well. So for anyone out there, try it, see how it works. Support your local businesses, support your local communities.
They are a local company, and we're going to
Yeah,
get them on the
local
show to talk a little bit more about what they do and how they help not only people outside of fighting, but just to talk about what they do. So yeah, we're excited to get them on the show here at some point.
Yeah, well, once we build up a little more, we'll bring them on so we can talk about it. Anyway, what we got next?
So we were kind of on the note of the whole racial thing, and this weekend we have a Mexican fighting for a title and a Frenchman fighting in his second fight in the.
Can you say that?
The UFC? I think so.
Okay,
I hope so.
Frenchman's very.
And then a white guy.
Yeah.
So we got like three.
No, American.
Or the French guy.
You went French, Mexican, and then you went white.
Which ones?
How
Are they
come
all
you didn't
American?
say brown and then you said white?
I think the French.
My feelings are hurt.
Here we go with feelings. Okay, feelings. Politically correct.
Stay politically correct.
So three great fighters.
You never know who's listening.
Title
Might
fight.
get in trouble.
Title fight.
We got three
title
men
fight
fighting.
this weekend.
We got three men fighting.
big fights.
Three
man.
men. Not Americans.
Three men.
JW International. Hashtag.
Three Jackson Wink fighters fighting this weekend. Let's start over
In Vegas.
in Vegas.
Pray for Vegas. Fight for Vegas. Make sure it doesn't happen again.
Obviously, the most high profile one is Demetrius Johnson and Ray
Oh, yeah.
Borg. You guys have been working your butts off to get him ready. What do you guys think? How's that going to go?
Well, we always go to win fights. There's absolutely no doubt
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Ray's been working his butt off. He looks great. He's got a great game plan. I think Ray can beat anybody in the world on the right night. So we're excited about it. What do you think, little bro? Same?
Yes, what he said.
Good answer.
Yeah. Listen, Ray's one of my favorite people. I love him to death. I just love his tenacity, and he's such a sweetheart. So I will be rooting for him hard, as I am also coaching.
I wanted to bring up a point about Ray. I actually made a post on Instagram the other day too about it. That people don't give him a chance because he's going against Demetrius Johnson, the greatest of all time. Okay, well, Holly went against the greatest of all time too, and we saw what happened. There's multiple historical upsets in the sport of boxing, of MMA. It's a combat sport. Whenever you have two trained combatants enter the cage or ring or arena, whatever it is, it's a 50-50 chance for either side. There's no ifs about it. That's how I see it. That's how I see it, because both guys train to knock each other out, submit each other out, both train to go 5 rounds, 3 rounds, whatever it is. So the people that don't give Ray a chance, I don't believe are not right, because it's a combat sport. It's a combat of attrition, a combat of, both guys train. Do you guys support that kind of thought? Or, I mean, that's how I look at it. As I was going to ask.
It literally doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. I don't care.
No, but I mean, you don't. But I'm coming from away because I run social media. I read it. I get into it. I get emotional about it because it's our fighter.
That's exactly why I don't read it.
We're talking to the wrong guys about social media.
Well, yeah, they far away.
You know what? I stay up at night. I stay up at night saying, but what would somebody else think about the fighter that I'm training going into the cage?
Yeah, we know that's true.
I just like.
Do you even own a computer?
What's real important to me is what are they eating right now?
Yeah.
Actually, that kind of is important.
Yeah.
They better be eating
What's the presentation?
Don't go there. Don't go there.
Well, maybe that's why we're so successful, because we think of different things, and you have your role, he has his role, I have my role. But what I'm saying, it's like it touches me. I always try to change perception, at least give another perception to people, because I read into it maybe too much. And it affects me.
The fight game's so mental, and I listen to Greg sometimes. He told Ray Bork some certain things in this fight they're going to play out, and if Ray does what Greg said, which is an overall strategy, he's going to have his hands raised after the fight, and that's what it's all about.
And I don't doubt
those little things. Ray Bork can out-scramble anybody. He's got a great work ethic. He goes crazy. He is a sweetheart behind the scenes, not in the gym, but he takes care of his family. I think he's got everybody living with him. He just takes care of them all. And he's like, 24 years old? Yeah, he's that extraordinary individual. There's no doubt about it. That's just a side note. He can fight.
Yeah, talking about the corners, it's I'm new to the sport, new fan to the sport myself. But watching videos of you guys in the corner is always an incredible experience to watch. The way you talk to the fighters, Greg comes to mind when he's talking to the guys in the corner, calming them down and.
Even changing accents.
It's fascinating to watch.
Like with Rustam, not changing, but it's like, when you
that
talk
was a perfect Russian accent, by the way.
When you dealing with someone with an accent, it's kind of like gets into you, and you just kind of it transpires on you.
I mean, a lot of that's just getting him calm and relaxed and being silly. And stuff.
Greg's known for telling people jokes and saying the right thing at the right time. So how lucky I am! He gets people calmed down, and sometimes I can help out with little instruction, but they're calm, they're ready to go.
And it's funny when I keep bringing it up, because I rarely watch fights now, because I'm here nonstop all the time. So you know how you get when you're part of the business. Before I would watch every single fight. Now it's we're fighting every freaking day. So, but when you're in John Jones' corner, and I remember second or third fight, you telling him something, John is because he hasn't fought for a while, so he's sit down, he's just trying to, get his composure. And whatever you told him, man, and I remember they did the close up on John, he just had this big smile,
it's fascinating.
That's Greg's magic, man, right there.
Between that and listening to Wink yelling out codes or whatever, we pick out these voices now. It's
so
good
cool, chemistry between them.
We're a well-oiled machine. It's been thousands of fights at this point.
Tried and tested for many years.
Yeah, we have a system that works pretty well. I calm them down. Big Bro gives them some instruction, and off they go. I'll give them a little bit of
No, he gives
keep both hands up.
An incredible amount of instructions. Sometimes I throw some shit in there once in a while.
Big fights coming up too. Just announced a couple days ago. Carlos is coming back. That's putting the social media on fire. People love Carlos, and they're excited to see him back in the
probably the most loved fighter ever.
Yeah, literally, being the social media guys, we
Never
we
seen
see all
a
the
single
comments.
bad comment. They're like, you post something about Carlos, is like 200 comments, like in the matter of an hour. Like,
People wish he lived in the gym. I mean, every day. Can you show Carlos? Where's Carlos?
from
Where-
Russia, the same thing. Even
Yeah.
from Russia, like I go on my Russian social media. It's like nonstop. It's Carlos. Do you know anything about Carlos? When is he coming back? When
He's
is
got a big fight coming up, and we're excited to have that one coming up.
And the funny part about Anthony Hamilton, man, unretiring like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if that was the shortest retirement ever, but we're happy to have him back. We
man.
love the guy.
Freight train is something else. Good big guy.
Da.
Big man up.
Hey, you guys didn't ask about Landon. So Landon's fighting this weekend too.
Oh, Landon.
Yeah, we did
Landon
mention
and
Landon.
Tom.
Oh, that's it. Said the white guy. Oh, that was Landon.
yeah,
I was
that
like,
was
who's
the
the
white
white guy?
guy.
I'm like,
Oh yeah, but he jumps like a black guy.
That
Actually,
was
so-
the white guy.
very explosive.
Watching Landon in the gym is fascinating.
that's a big- that's a
He's
big
gymnast
fight,
slash. I mean, we see him doing the
Bobby Green.
Yeah, he'll string up a slack line across the cage and walk across it and doing flips and random exercises he does. It's fascinating watching him.
Yeah, Landon's incredible. Things he can do with his body, his explosiveness, smart too, intelligent. So we're excited about this fight.
Yeah, Landon's is something else. I'm just going to put it that way. We'll see this weekend. That guy is just something else.
He just, and I talked to him too. I think he just gets into a little too playful once in a while. That's what causes them a couple of fights. He gets a little too loose. I think. Keep your focus, man.
Watching their
Because
styles is fun.
but he's got a very fun style to watch, man. The way he fights. Yeah.
Yep.
I guess.
Well, you guys travel all around the world, obviously. I mean, which one of you has the most air miles?
Greg.
That's easy.
Yeah, I've been doing it a while.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I've tried to pull back a little bit now, and as I'm jumping back in, it was. There was a time there where it was 7 days a week for a lot of years, just from one fight to the next fight to the next fight to the next fight. New Year's around this New Year's, I was like, Big Bro will tell you he's with me. I was pretty much just smoked. I needed to back out a little bit, relax, take my time. Still work here every day, but now I'm feeling it again. I'm jumping back in hard. It feels good again.
Well,
Yeah, we were on the flight. We were on 2 time zones. We spent New Year's. We spent New
Yeah.
Year's Eve in Las Vegas and in New York.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
so
Fun.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
It
to
was
plan.
not cool.
I had to plan some of your tickets. I remember.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, man. Like, I mean, what if you?
But it was that pace for whatever it's been 10 years. Like, there's nobody that's cornered more than I have just because of those last 10. I'm sure somebody will pass the record shortly, but it was intense for a long time. And
Quick question: how long do you think you can do that?
Till he's done. Till he's done.
Coach.
I don't know.
I'm getting pretty damn old. I don't know. No,
What?
No, it's
Negative.
You guys aren't going anywhere.
It's too fun still. I'm having
I
a
think
great
he
time.
won't be
Yeah, I'm
able.
having a good
I
time.
think he won't be able to exist.
I have a
without-
smile on my
without
face
that.
when I come to work.
This is your life.
Most of the time.
Good job.
Well, you just
Coach
got back
always-
from China last month for a couple of weeks. You're doing these seminars now.
Yeah.
Tell us about those.
I'm
a little
really
bit.
getting into that. So part of it, I think, that is keeping me fresh and excited on things. And so I'm really getting into teaching these seminars, strategy stuff, and different kind of. So everybody knows techniques: jab, cross, hook, uppercut, all this stuff. But trying to think beyond that a little bit, meaning that, okay, well, what techniques should go together? Not just a combination, but setting up traps for people, just thinking in a strategic methodology instead of thinking in I'm just going to go out there and jab and then I'll look for my right hand, or, when he does this, I'll do that kind of thinking, which is very, in my opinion, very amateurish. Getting to the next level where you are putting somebody on the horns of a dilemma, so that if they counter one thing, you already have something in your back pocket waiting for it. If you want to set a trap up by falsely retreating, and then when they move forward, blasting them, and that works for jiu-jitsu, it works for striking. It's these underlying strategic principles that everybody should know. And I just got back from Oklahoma at Forge Jiu-Jitsu, and they're just a straight jiu-jitsu school. And we had a great time over there just talking about all these different strategies, because the different strategies have names, just like a jab, cross, a hook, an uppercut, et cetera, et cetera. So taking that and saying, okay, instead of now I have a jab, cross, a hook, and uppercut, how can I use those tools to build a house? Basically, we're taking the tools that you have and we're saying, this is how I've done it for the last 25 years. This is how Big Bro does it for the last...
I use a hammer and nails myself.
Yeah, right. This guy. So I think that's important. I think it'll benefit individuals, but also the sport, but it's also just really fun for me to do. Like, I had a blast in China. It was so fun seeing all these people hungry for knowledge. I had a blast at Forge Jiu-Jitsu. You had such a spectrum of people. You had these young fighting guys, but then you had these older people that, not super old, but older people that just do jiu-jitsu for fun. But just to start thinking in that methodology keeps you excited, right? Like, for me, the martial arts is such an exciting thing. Like, you go to bed thinking about techniques and you wake up the same way, like this, that, and the other thing. To have that, especially if you kind of hit a rut, to have that spark again, looking at combat in a way that you haven't looked at it before, I think can be beneficial and help inspire people. And certainly helping by teaching it, keeping me fresh and excited about this game.
Now you guys know why I hang out with him. I just say punch him in the face real hard.
Yeah, right. This
Yeah,
guy's
but-
master
tell him how.
strategist.
And you tell him how. I'll just tell him to punch.
No, not at all. This guy's a master strategist.
Martial arts is not going anywhere. There's a whole new generation watching, getting into it. It's funny. You mentioned Oklahoma. There was one of my old partners from the police department. His daughter, they live out in Oklahoma now, and I guess she was in one of the seminars or observing it or something, and she was so excited to talk about her experience with the world famous Greg Jackson. And so he sent me a message on the internet saying, "Hey, you know,
that's sweet."
That was
Well,
so
it's
cool.
such positive experiences. I have an Instagram now. I know anybody that knows me thought that would never happen.
Follow him.
So you
Greg
follow
Jackson.
me on the Instagram, and you can there's an email and all that stuff on. You can contact him, and
Yes.
if you guys want to book seminars, man, I'm all about it. I can't wait to get out, and I'm having so much fun with it. I didn't realize it would be. I've done seminars before, but man, I'm having a blast.
The Instagram is Greg Jackson MMA.
What is the best way to if people are interested in your seminars, and that's worldwide, not just
Right, yeah, no,
that's not
absolutely.
just
I'll
Albuquerque
travel.
or the States. We're going
Right.
anywhere.
Yeah, we'll travel. You can get a hold of the gym here, or you can get a hold of me directly on the Instagram stuff. There's an email
great.
there's that you can do, and anything that you email the gym will just get forwarded there. So it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to keep doing it. Man, I want to do I got addicted. I'm like one a month. Let's go.
And that's the cool thing about both you guys. Actually, you both do your a lot of people may not know that, but you guys have your separate entities from the pro gym. I mean, Mr. Winklejohn, you also have your Smart Girl Defense, your family gym going on, Wink's Gym, which is a great service to the community, and it really gets these kids
Start.
keeping away from bullies.
It keeps me grounded, because I've taught for 35 years. When I have people come up to me, it's been 20 years or so, they don't really thank me for teaching them how to punch somebody in the face. They usually thank me for giving them the opportunity to get confidence, to get good grades in school, to listen to their parents, or get their kid to stop being a bully, or stand up to the bully. It's always those other things that have anything and everything to do with fighting. I can't articulate it. Greg could articulate it better for me, but it's those things that are outside of fighting that are taught through martial arts that are the keys. Those values that Greg was talking about earlier that a lot of people are moving away from. That's the reason why I still stay attached to the smaller family type of gym settings, and a lot of kids with special needs. My wife and I are opening up a special needs adaptive MMA program. We almost got our approval from the IRS and stuff to be a nonprofit. That's awesome. So we're going to start that pretty soon. So my goal is with something like that is I want these kids that feel left out, feel a little less than, or sometimes they don't know who they are, but of course. But I want them to come in and work out with some next to or in the same facility as some of the best fighters in the world. And I want the best fighters in the world to stop and look. Man, I've been dealt this great deck of cards. Why in the hell do I keep throwing a couple of them away? So I think they can learn from each other and inspire each other, and so that's kind of part of my goal with that.
I wish we could show the moments that you're talking about with some of these special needs people that come in here, with you working with them in the cage. It's surreal to watch because
Like Brandon Hussey, right?
Yeah, exactly, and he's a perfect example. We see Coach Wink working with him, and the guys. I don't know what belt he's got in jiu-jitsu, but watching Coach Wink with him is
Kicks my ass when I roll with him.
yeah. It's
Here's
a humbling experience.
Well, here's a young man that he comes from with a smile on his face, and he's been dealt some shitty cards. He basically has one arm with like 3 fingers, another arm has just a stub, and I'll say spinning stub, and he's spinning with it, but he's got 2 legs that don't function, basically at the knees, kind of one they're stuck in certain positions and stuff, but he's doing cartwheel type of kicks with his knees. He's jumping up, throwing palms. He knows my codes, our codes for all of our strikes. He's throwing combinations. I'm throwing punches at him. He's just moving around. He's rolling around, coming up, doing donkey kicks, things that I have a hard time getting a lot of my fighters to do. But I just have a smile on my face when I get done working out with them. It's great. I feel I'm blessed. I get the opportunity because that motivates me to do more. Yeah, because I complain because my eye hurts. Wow.
I rolled with him in Gracie Barra at one time. He's got some tenacity in him. Like he's got a fighter spirit, like straight up. Like it's in him.
Mm-hmm. Like, and he's learned to use what he has.
Yeah.
You know, he'll stick his arm in your neck and
which
stuff.
Hurts.
And just, yeah, exactly.
In your ribs.
He'll find a way. So it's very inspiring, and hopefully, people will see that.
We have a special heart. We have a special place in our hearts for people, special needs. Diego Sanchez is a perfect example. We have him and the Shermanator on the show. Well, he has been at it quite a while, so I don't know what's going on with his personal life, but yeah, he's a great guy.
Just kidding.
He comes
just teasing him.
Smart guy, man.
Of course we are. But no, watching him with the Shermanator in here is always a humbling experience too. It's we have a special place in our heart, like I said, and we enjoy it. We welcome it, and it's a great thing that we're offering.
That's what's so funny about I think it's the gym. They always think this cage and it's all about fighting and stuff. But look where Greg came from. His dad is definitely into. Protecting the handicapped and people that have needs and stuff. That's a fact. And it's just huge. He's grown up with that, and that's you can tell listening to Greg talking to people. A lot of that, I'm guessing, has come from, I'm sure, mom as well, but through dad and stuff. And people don't know that kind of stuff.
Yeah, people don't.
They just named a building after his dad. I mean, it's just
it's the first
Jim
time
Jackson.
this.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, my dad's amazing, and my mom too. But I was extremely lucky in the parents department. Extremely lucky.
Very well.
So let's finish this up a little bit with. I want to talk about what do you think is what was your most exciting moment in the corner?
That would hurt people's feelings because then I would take favorites against.
Well, we're not.
Okay, I can say right now, Holly kicking Ron in the face. That's it. I've had some cool ones. I've had those times.
How did I know that was going to be the answer?
Yeah, that's it. Well, because if that hurts people's feelings, I don't care. Because Holly's been with the longest.
Yeah.
And so she grew up in the gym. So of course I'm going to take an attachment to that, and it was pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, believe me, cool. we went crazy. Yeah. This moment is pretty incredible. Greg?
There's like, and I always ask when people say, well, give me one. What's the dumbest thing you've ever done? And I'm like, there's 700 equal ones. Like there's 700. Like I'm sure at some point I'll look back and say, oh, this was a moment, that was a moment. But there are so many. It's very hard to communicate because I think it's hard to understand. There's so many moments where I thought, I was just saying the other day, everybody asks you, what's your favorite upset story? It's is it Holly? Is it one of the other ones that we did? It was like Travis Brown when he came back against Overeem. Like, what is your, and like my favorite story, the one that everybody forgets that I never see on anybody's list or anything is Rashad Chuck Liddell. Like that, people thought we were going to get taken out in the Holly fight. I've never been talked to like I was talked to in that fight. Like,
wow.
They were like, listen, Chuck, no one can take Chuck Liddell down, and that's all Rashad does. Greg, like he's going to kill him. Like, how can you put your fighter in this fight? Like, I've never been talked to like that, where like media was actually like, you are the dumbest
You're an idiot
I've ever met. And everybody calls me an idiot. And I mean, listen, it's been thousands of fights. I've done some dumb stuff. I have. Like, that's just a fact of the matter. Like, if you do anything thousands of times, you're going to not have your A game every time.
You live and learn.
You do. But Big Bro called that overhand out on it, and I wasn't really that worried about it.
It wasn't that easy. I mean, it was also the strategy and making Chuck come to us because he's a counterpuncher. So Greg said, let him come to us. We'll open him up, let him punch first, and we'll see the counter. And so my job was easy that way. That is one of the better moments. The crowd just was yelling. All of a sudden, quiet.
Yeah.
Chuck was out cold. That was a good moment.
So that was like, for me, that's my favorite upset story. But I have others. Another quiet moment like that was when, it wasn't really an upset story, but that was the quietest I've ever heard in an arena, was when Carlos and Dan Hardy threw left hooks at each other. Oh. And I think there was one guy in the entire arena yelling for us, and then the rest of it that's probably the quietest I've ever heard in an arena.
That was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah.
I forgot
what about
that.
Keith Jardine and Chuck?
That was awesome too, because it was such a great game plan. The sticking, the moving, and making them. Yeah, that was good too.
I was pretty excited afterwards. Keith, that just happened. You look at it, that just happened. Yeah. I remember he didn't go out or anything. We went back to the hotel room, and I won't say we drank any beer, but it was just one of those things that it was just that moment with the team. That was pretty exciting for Keith.
Yeah, I think
I have a feeling it's going to happen this weekend again with Ray.
Yeah. We're looking
so.
forward to it.
We'll see.
And on that note, yeah, we're
Tom
gonna
and Lynn.
yeah, exactly. We're gonna wrap it up, but we appreciate both you guys coming on. I know getting you guys together at the same time is an
Difficult.
anomaly,
Yeah, but we did it.
but yeah, we did it. We appreciate the time.
If you're fighters, you could do it quite often. We're always here for that.
Yeah, but that's in Vegas during a fight.
Yeah, let me mention it one more time about the our website, because if you the fighter looking to get into the gym or a company or gym or whatever it is, looking to get Coach Jackson on a seminar, or Coach Wink, or if so you want some privates, like stuff like that, we're willing to definitely talk it out and stuff like this. Just go to website jacksonwink.com, submit your inquiries on there, especially for the fighters, pro fighters or amateur fighters looking to get in. On the front page there's a new fighter inquiry, so just go in, submit it, I'll get back to you. And yeah,
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
let's pay some bills. Last one. Yeah, just
Yeah, CBD.
CBD.
CBD. Here we come up.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
All right, go ahead.
You start.
CBD Boutique, local company. We appreciate their support. They're backing us, and we look forward to a long partnership with them. Like I said earlier, we are going to have them on the show because we want to talk about exactly what the benefits are to.
There's a lot of technical stuff behind it for people
Exactly,
to
because,
understand what it actually is, because some people don't understand what holistic medicine is and what it does for a human body.
I'm the wrong person to try and talk about.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm still learning about it to understand it, but I've been taking it, and it actually, it makes me feel good. So
And a lot of the fighters are taking it. A lot of people out and about are taking it. Hearing about it more and more and more. It's
Diego
becoming more
Sanchez
popular.
actually signed the deal with CBD Boutique. He's going to represent them and stuff. So, and go check it out.
So go visit their website, check it out, read more about it, and we will see you guys in a week. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, coaches.
Bye.
We're out.
See ya.